Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Dimitri. So today we're gonna be working on a interview challenge for C Sharp. So what they want you to do is to print a name, a first name and a last name. So they want you to get this Jessica Smith from the user. Okay, so they want you to create an application that gets this input. But if you type a different name, if you type, let's say, Sarah Smith instead of Jessica Smith, they want you to display an error. So they tell you to do it whatever way you like, however you want it, okay? So in this case, because you need to ask a question, right? So you need to ask the user to input something. So I'm just going to create a console write line. So type your first name. So that's going to be my first question. If I want to read that from the user, I'm going to create a console read line, but I want this to be inside a variable. So because it's a name, I'm just going to call this string first name. So for now, I have the input of my first name. What I'm going to do now, it's pretty much the same with the last name. So type your last name, for example. So that's going to be my second question to the user. So I'm going to read that as well, right? And in this case, I'm going to store that in a different variable. Let's call it last name. And if I run this program, what I'm going to have is something like this. So type your first name. So let's say Camelo, and last name L. So the application is working so far, but they want you to have specifically this Jessica Smith. So you have to create some sort of validation in order to get that from these two variables, first name and last name. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to type if my first name, okay, I'm just going to create it in the same method for now. So if my first name is equal to Jessica, then do something, right? But I have another condition, which is last name. So I could just create that condition inside the same if. So if my last name is equal to Smith, okay, that's the second condition. So if these conditions are met, I want to print something. So I want to print my first name, and I also want to print my last name. Okay, if that doesn't happen, like if the user types something different, I want to create an error message. So I'm just going to type the username again, for example. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to have here is an application that tries to validate this input from the first name and then from the last name. So if I happen to run this application and I type something like my first name is going to say type the username again because it's not Jessica Smith. So let's try to run this again, and let's try to work. Let's try to type Jessica and then Smith. So this should give me the Jessica Smith name as an output. Okay, that's perfect. So it looks like it's working. So you'll have to do some formatting. So if I do this, and if I run this again, maybe I'll have a better formatting. Okay, so let's just type Jessica and then Smith, and then I'm going to have Jessica space Smith. So we're done with the application. Let's just try it one more time. Let's try to input something else. So let's try to say Daniel and then Cruz. This should give me an error message. Type the username again. Okay, so that's perfect. So that was pretty much the whole challenge for today, guys. I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you in the next video.